It's time for the New Orleans Saints to unleash these players. I'm going to give you 4 names, maybe even a 5th one. Make sure you stick around for the video of guys who I think Kellen Moore need to take the chains off, let them out of the doghouse, and let these guys feast. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to spend the next few minutes telling you guys about some rookies / younger players who just, in my opinion, it's time to see their opportunity. First things first, we're going to start off in the cornerback room. I want to see Quincy Riley get unleashed. It's time to get this guy on the field. Isaac Yiadom, let me say this. He is not it. I am tired of seeing him on the field. I do not want to see any more Isaac Yiadom. I am perfectly okay letting Quincy Riley get out on the field as soon as possible. 131st overall selection in the 4th round this past year out of Louisville. He was excellent in college. He had 15 career interceptions, which was first in the draft class, 23 pass breakups since 2023. That was second in this draft class. Quincy Riley, he can be effective in the run game. He can be effective as a ball hawk. He can be somebody who forces turnovers. And to be totally honest, I think that he's somebody who could provide a spark to the Saints defense and honestly bring a little bit extra juice to that side of the football. I'm going to be just transparent with you. I would much rather, call me crazy, I would much rather watch a rookie with upside go through some growing pains and make some plays than a 29-year-old veteran struggle week in and week out. I'm tired of it. Shout out to Isaac Yiadom a few years ago. Came in, had some good moments. Yeah, he was great. But he isn't doing it anymore. I'm over it. I would like to see Isaac Yiadom off the field. I would like to see Quincy Riley on the field. I mean, Isaac Yiadom has been very, very bad thus far. In 2025, 104 snaps total played. He has not been good. He just hasn't been reliable. He has been picked on for 2 weeks straight. I am so tired of watching our defense get picked apart because Isaac Yiadom just isn't the guy. I think Quincy Riley could help you on those 3rd downs. I think he could help you force those turnovers when you need them. I think he could help you have big moments on the defensive side of the football. Not to mention, if you have Quincy Riley on the field, you're not at risk of losing a comp pick. In case you're unaware, the New Orleans Saints are expected to have a 4th-round compensatory selection be awarded because Paulson Adebo walked in free agency and signed with the New York Football Giants. If Isaac Yiadom, it's a certain threshold of snaps played with this team this season, the Saints will lose that 4th-round pick. And if he is starting and very heavily rotated in, the New Orleans Saints will lose that pick. If he is a backup and doesn't get a ton more run, they will get to keep that selection. Reminder, the Saints have traded away a bunch of picks already. Next year, the year after, and even the year after that. So I'm not saying that the comp pick is the reason to start Paulson Adebo or to start Quincy Riley. I am saying it's something to consider. And I would like to see Quincy Riley take over right here, right now, in week 3. Isaac Yiadom just isn't it anymore for me. And if you want to see Riley on the field over Yiadom, one thing, send a message, like this video. Let's see if we can get 500, 600 likes. I mean, shoot, Lopez, if we get 1,000, Yiadom's on the bench. He's got to be, right? Yeah, at that point, 1,000 likes go straight to Brandon Staley's front desk and say, oh, well, we got to make some changes to keep the Saints fan and the Golden Gang happy. Like the video if you want Quincy Riley to start over Isaac Yiadom. Sticking around on the defensive side of the football, I think you guys knew where this one was headed. Danny Stutsman. I have been self-proclaimed as a dirty little stut. I am a big, big fan of him. Friend of the program, has been on the show, and I'm a huge, huge Danny Stutsman believer for what it's worth. I think that the linebacker position, the future revolves around Danny Stutsman. And I do think that there's a conversation to be had about Pete Werner potentially taking a little bit of a backseat, or at least being rotated in, or rotated out, you should say, a little bit more. He's been struggling in coverage. He was not good last week. And Pete Werner was dropping back in coverage on that Juwan Jennings touchdown on 3rd and long. He was dropping back, couldn't quite get up high enough, and couldn't bring it down. That being said, he is second in tackles for the New Orleans Saints. So if you do put him on the bench, you lose a guy who gets you a lot of production. That being said, bone to pick, Pete Werner, 3-year, $25 million contract. He has 17.5 of that guaranteed. Pete Werner is not playing like that contract suggests, in my opinion. And you were paid to take a step. We have not seen that step be taken. We have not seen him leap, if you will. And I will say, with a team that struggles mightily on 3rd down and struggles to have energy and pop, Stutsman might be the guy to bring that. I mean, he's a defensive tone setter. There's no question about it. This guy will set the tone. He'll bring the energy. He will be loud. He will juice up the fan base. He'll juice up the field itself. Do you not remember in week 1, opening kickoff, Danny Stutsman in on the tackle? The entire stadium erupts. When he took the field in preseason, entire stadium erupts. You want to have the dome field advantage, put Danny Stutsman on the field. It's going to be hard to take him off the field. I'm shocked that he hasn't been on the field more, to be totally honest. He's also a tackling machine, very reliable, very good against the run, can drop back in coverage because he is a freak athlete. And guess what? Even if the ball isn't going towards his side of the field, he will book it to the other side of the field and make the play. He is in on every play. He finds the football. He has a nose for the football. He's a heat-seeking missile when it comes to bringing down the ball carrier. He's a physical playmaker who brings pop, who brings power, who brings speed, who brings excellent playmaking ability and strong leadership to a roster. And so in my opinion, I think that the Saints need to find ways to get Danny Stutsman rotated in more often because I think that his upside is absolutely undeniable. This is not a knock on Pete Werner, but come on, man. How could you tell me you don't want this guy on the field? How could you tell me that the New Orleans Saints right here, right now, are better off in their current situation? I just don't buy it. I don't. Because if they were better off in their current situation, they wouldn't be absolutely dog shit when it came to stopping 3rd down. They wouldn't be allergic to self-inflicted wounds, or they wouldn't be addicted to self-inflicted wounds. Danny Stutsman's upside is undeniable. You got to find ways to put him on the field, and you got to find ways to develop him. This defense, it needs a spark. It needs an energy. It needs somebody to set the tone. It needs somebody to pick up the energy and be the guy. On offense, we haven't really seen that happen. Rattler kind of making a case. Kamara sort of making a case. But defensively, we haven't seen anyone establish themselves as the alpha. We haven't seen anyone establish themselves as that guy you don't want to go near. You haven't seen somebody take on the role of being the enforcer, being the playmaker, being the big hitter. Who's it going to be? I think Quincy Riley and Danny Stutsman can provide all of those things to the Saints defense. Personally, when it comes to starting, I would still say Pete Werner. But I think when it comes to who should get more snaps throughout the game and who should get rotated in more, Danny Stutsman needs to start getting some rotation. So I'm going to ask you, who do you think should start? Pete Werner, Danny Stutsman. I still think Werner should start. But I do think that Danny Stutsman needs to be getting some serious rotation in. He's only been really a special teams contributor for the most part this season up to this point. And I know there's a lot of y'all out there who are big Danny Stutsman fans. Devaughn Vele, he is not a rookie by any means. He's also not really a young player. He's just young in his NFL career, you could say. He is a player that I would like to see the New Orleans Saints unleash because he is somebody who was brought in to provide that big-bodied pass-catching ability. He's really, really good with those contested catches. He's very, very reliable when he's working over the middle and in the red zone. He has nice hands. He can operate in a lot of different fashions. 6'5", 210 pounds. The Saints, remember, traded a 4th rounder this year and a 7th rounder next year with the Denver Broncos to acquire this wide receiver who was drafted in the 7th round. Now, I have more to talk about with Devaughn Vele, and I have more thoughts that I want to share because I do think Devaughn Vele starting to prove his point and prove why the Saints traded for him. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But really quick, these polos, ladies and gentlemen, sale alert. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. These sick polos, we have them in white with black stripes and black with white stripes. They were $70. Nike golf polo, You can get it for $47 if you use the link in the live chat, comments, or description of this video. Search chatsports.com/NOPOLO in your URL or in your bar, whatever, and you can also go straight to the website to get yourself some gear. All sizes available. Sale ends soon, so be sure to take advantage. Chatsports.com/NOPOLO will be linked in the comments and description of this video. Go get yourself some new swag. Devaughn Vele in week 2 proved why you traded for him. He did exactly what you needed him to do and exactly what you brought him in to do. Remember, this is a player who caught 60% of the contested catches that he was thrown in 2025 or 2024. In 2025, he has 3 targets, 2 catches. One of those was a touchdown. One of those was a first down. This play right here, I want to just really quickly, because we can't show the play, but here's the photo so you can kind of see it. Devaughn Vele on a quick slant makes a really good move. Hand fights close to the that's funny when I did that. Hand fights close to the line of scrimmage to create that space, beats his man, and Spencer Rattler, all he has to do is put it in front of him where Devaughn Vele has the edge. The defender is behind his back. You can see that right here. He's draped all over him because that's the only way he could get defense on him, because he was behind him, and he bodied him. He out-physicaled him. He put himself in a position where only he could make the catch. So Devaughn Vele is doing exactly what the Saints traded for him to do. They're proving why he was brought in. I think he needs more opportunities. I think he needs more run. I was really happy to see that he did start in the starting lineup for New Orleans in week 2, but I want to see him get more than just 1-2 targets a game. I'd like to see him have a little bit more run, to be totally honest. And look, the wide receiver room in New Orleans, I'm not going to sit here and say has been amazing, but Chris Olave hasn't really been super dependable. Rashid Shaheed, dare I say, has been your best receiver. Like, it's just kind of been a little bit of meat left on the bone in terms of this squad. And you obviously haven't gotten to see Trey Palmer. You obviously haven't gotten to see much from Mason Tipton. But I think Devaughn Vele should be getting more rotation and more looks, maybe over a guy like Brandon Cooks, just because of what he can do, providing something different rather than just another speed guy and a good route runner. I think Devaughn Vele can just bring more to the offense. Now, remember, I mentioned one other name in that wide receiver room we haven't seen anything from. It's not Trey Palmer. It's Mason Tipton that I want to see get unleashed. Now, you could make an argument. Honorable mention, I will say Trey Palmer as well, because he has been healthy and active for the past 2 weeks after being acquired on the waiver wire by New Orleans. But Mason Tipton, he's a player who has become a household name in the preseason. He's a preseason prince by the definition of it. 2 years in a row. Had strong summers, strong training camps, strong preseason campaigns, and makes the 53-man roster. That's happened twice in a row for him. It's pretty impressive for a UDFA out of Yale. 0 snaps, though, have been logged on offense so far this season. We have not seen him take the field on offense one time. And for a player who continues to make the roster but doesn't touch the field, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit concerning. It's a little bit frustrating. Remember, in the preseason, 8 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown. He had one preseason matchup with 100 yards. He was reliable. He displayed there was chemistry there with Spencer Rattler. He showed that he can be somebody you can trust on this offense. He showed playmaking ability. And when it comes to this conversation of, well, who do you take snaps away from? I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Brandon Cooks make a case. I don't think you take snaps away from Chris Olave, because obviously you want your best playmakers on the field. But I do think that Tipton should be getting reps. I do think that he needs to see the field. I do think that he's a player who can be a reliable safety blanket for Spencer Rattler and somebody who clearly there's chemistry already developed with. You saw it last year in the preseason. You saw it last year during the regular season when Rattler started. You saw it this year in the preseason. I would like to see that chemistry and that player continue to grow and continue to get more opportunities. Just my personal opinion on that one. Now, I will say honorable mention for rookie running back Devin Neal. You know, it's an honorable mention because it's not like Alvin Kamara's been bad. Like, he hasn't. He's actually been really, really good so far. But I do think when it comes to the Saints offense, it would be pretty interesting to see him get some more reps. He got opportunities in week 1, rotated well with Kendre Miller. I'm not saying Kendre Miller has been bad either, but like, you clearly need to figure out what's going on here behind Alvin Kamara. And sure, you want to win games. Sure, you want to look to succeed week in and week out. But you also want to develop these players, and you want to see what you got in these guys to take a true and honest assessment of what your roster currently looks like and what it's going to need next offseason. So I think honorable mention, I would put Devin Neal in this conversation, as well as another honorable mention, I would put Trey Palmer out there too, just solely because this offense needs more firepower. Defensively, I mean, there's really not any other players I want to see get unleashed on the defensive side of the football. Yeah, he can't unleash Vernon Broughton. He got hurt, so that sucks. Oh, well. Who's been the MVP? I want you to let me know. Talked about some players who kind of struggled. Talked about some players who I think should get more opportunities. Who's been the MVP to start this season? I want you to get in the comment section, share your thoughts, and let me know. My name is Trizzy Trace Girouard. Thank you so much for tuning into this edition of Saints Now by Chat Sports. No matter where you are, how you're watching, we always appreciate the Who Dat Nations for taking some time out of their day to hang out with us. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.